you know that when I'm standing in a group of hay bales that today's going to be a good day because we're going to be doing some longer range shooting. So today's video is actually a continuation of one that I did some weeks ago using this optic right here. This is a Primary Arms 3-18 with their Athena Bpr reticle in it. And to be honest, I just didn't get the video that I wanted on the optic out of that particular one because I didn't have some of the tools that I needed at the time, and I have them now. So what I wanted to do was to do a dedicated video on the Athena Bpr reticle. And to do that, we're just going to go ahead and real quick rehash this optic, and then we're going to get to doing some shooting. The SLX line is Primary Arms' bread and butter in the area of magnified optics. This particular one is their 3-18 magnification first focal plane offering. The scope has a 50mm objective and a 30mm tube to ensure sufficient light pours in from the target, and the field of view is rated at over 36 to 6 feet, low to high at 100. Yes, we are working in mils here. I know, I'm American too, but the turrets and the reticle match, and that's what's really important. We will come back to the reticle in just a minute, but for now, know that it is illuminated to daytime brightness with op-stops in between. Illumination is powered by a single CR2032 battery that is included. The turrets are termed their tactical configuration, which is exposed finger adjustments with press locks. Adjustment goes out to 14.5 mils for both windage and elevation and is done in 0.1 mil increments. The eye relief is adjusted near the rear of the scope, as is traditional, and is rated from 3.9 to 3.5 inches, but I had no problem mounting it on my ODS 1775, which is much longer. Parallax shares a turret with the illumination controls and has all the stops that you would expect. Okay, now to what we've all been waiting for. Primary Arms is known for pushing the envelope on optics reticles. For instance, they are responsible for the popular ACSS reticle and did not fall short here either. This is the Athena Bpr. The center aiming point remains a 0.1 mil chevron, but is flanked by a differential graduated duplex composed of both lines and dots. The dots in the center section all represent incrementing 0.2 mil holds, followed by a section of 0.1 mil line graduations. Outside that bracket on the right side of the reticle is a ranging section calibrated to 18 inches and 5'10". Lastly, the bottom of the reticle opens up into a field of reference points for self-correcting dope out to 14.5 mils. The scope does come with removable spring-loaded caps, but unfortunately my rear cap did not survive to the making of this video. You can see what happened. We were running the bolt, and in the process of running the bolt back, we caught the scope cap, took it right off. Total weight of this offering comes in at just a shade under 25.5 ounces, but I have it mounted in a Midwest Industries 30mm mount for ease of use, and that bumps it up a little bit. So what I have this thing mounted on here today is the Seekins Precision Thunder Buddy. This was actually a limited edition rifle run that they did either, I think it was last winter or fall or something like that. It's been a great rifle, but I've had very few opportunities to shoot it. So that's what we're going to be doing here today because it didn't have an optic on it. So it was a prime host. I also have the Elevated Silence Evo on the front there. Full video out on both the gun and the suppressor if you guys want them. Links in the description box down below. But real quick disclaimer, I did not zero this. I went out to the range and fired 2 rounds to see if the gun and optic combo would hit the 4-foot piece of steel at 50 yards. It did. It's good enough for this demo because what I actually wanted to talk about that I was missing in the original video was the discussion about the area underneath of the duplex of this reticle. People were saying things like, wow, it's really busy. I don't understand what it's for. Today we're going to show you what it's for. So this gun, again, is not zeroed. We have a semi-known distance, and we're just going to shoot the rifle and use the reticle to get us back on target and make some hits. So here we go. So first off, we got to make sure that we're in proper working conditions here. Cool. We're going to be shooting some Fiocchi 223A. This is their FMJ bowtail stuff, the 55 grain variety, stuff that you usually see us shoot when we're doing 5.56. And we've got it loaded up in some Mission First Tactical Extreme Duty magazines, 450 yards on the steel. I'm gonna aim dead. Okay, I saw it. Looks like we're about the second rung down. Let's try again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag that reference point up to where I want the hit to be and see if we connect. Here we go. Bingo. All right, so we're making hits. Let's go ahead and see if we can't do the same thing on a smaller piece of steel. Now that piece of steel is white, so I'm not so sure if this is going to go super well for you guys anyway. I know that I'm having trouble seeing it. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna aim dead again. Okay, so we're getting relatively the same hold, a little bit farther off each side just because of the increased distance. Hit. Oh, that one was wide right. There we go. Ah, that was me. So there you have it, guys. We went from a rifle that was not zeroed at all to hitting steel at 450 yards. A big target and a little target at 450 yards with basically the information from one round. I took a few other takes just to make sure that there was something for you guys to look at in case, you know, a bird flew in front of it or something like that. But essentially we could have done all of that off of the initial information from one round because they weren't really that different. They're only separated by about 25 yards, and basically I could have used the same aiming point but just played with it a little bit. But what does that mean? Well, most people are not going to show up with an unzeroed optic, but I've got a little wrench to throw in. So we were shooting 55 grain. Well, I brought a second type of ammunition here. This is 77 grain Sierra Match King. And now this should hit in a completely different place. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot this now and see if we can't get on target with this stuff. Much lower. So what's also interesting about this scope is it's a first focal plane or front focal plane, which means that the reticle appears in series in front of the magnification unit. And that means that the subtensions don't change depending on your magnification. And how you can tell this is if the reticle appears to get smaller and bigger in the optic as you change the magnification, then it is a front focal plane scope, and those subtensions aren't changing, the aspect ratio is changing. So if I want a little bit more field of view, I can dial it back, and because those subtensions don't change, that means I can use the same hold. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pick an uneven, so that there's no mathematical tricks here. We're just going to go to 10 power from 18, and see if I can use the same hold to hit the targets. Sending. Okay, see it? Actually, I'm getting a little bit of mirage off of the suppressor, so I can't actually tell if I'm hitting it or not. You guys probably can. I know that those ones hit, and I found out actually that it's not mirage. Actually, let me show you what's going on here. So when this rifle's down, it's sitting there, and I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not, but when I go like that, it's actually baking the wet hay. Well, guys and gals, I think that we have thoroughly demonstrated the utility of having that field of reference points underneath of the main duplex of the reticle. We went from different magnifications to different types of ammunition with no zero whatsoever, and we were able to make hits at distance. So I think that it's a relatively proven concept now. And I would also like to point out that when it's mounted in something like the Midwest Industries 30mm mount, we got some serious versatility in this. So not only can you figure out where you are on the board rather rapidly using what's given to you in the scope, but also move it across a whole bunch of different guns, which is exactly why I was interested in this. Because real quick on the 30mm mount, this rail you can see has got some things going on with it, and it's just a little bit different than the spec of most of the other Picatinny rails that I have, and it needed some adjustment. Well, I didn't need any tools to do that. All I did was take it, throw the two levers off of where the optic was, put it on this thing, do a small adjustment with my fingers, no tools, and I was off to the races. It took me like 5 minutes to set up for today's filming session, smash some mags, and I'm out the door. So definitely something that I think modularity is one of the things that I really seek after in a lot of the equipment that I use, because so much of my equipment gets traded around a whole bunch of different test projects. So definitely be looking out for more of the 3 to 18 power with the Athena Bpr from Primary Arms. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know that I had a good time shooting it, and hopefully we'll see you guys on a future video here on the VSO Gun Channel, if only it would get a little bit warmer. It was out of the box.